Saturday, 7 November 1942. Dear Kitty, Mommy is frightfully irritable, and that always seems to hear unpleasantries for me. It is just chance that Daddy and Mommy never reboot Margaret. I call her Maggot. Margaret. And that they always drop on me for everything. Here's a question mark video. Yesterday evening, for instance, Margaret was reading a book with lovely drawings in it. She got up and went upstairs, put the book down, ready to go with it later. I wasn't doing anything, so picked up the book and started looking at the pictures. Margaret came back, saw her book in my hands, wrinkled her forehead, and asked for the book back. Just because I wanted to look a little further on, Margaret got more and more angry. Then Mommy joined in. Give the book to Margaret. She was reading it. She said, Daddy came into the room. He didn't even know what it was all about, but saw the injured look on Margaret's face and promptly dropped on me. I'd like to see what you'd say if Margaret ever started looking at one of your books. Wow. I gave way at once, laid the book down, and left the room, offended. Rightly, yeah, offended as they thought. Offended as they thought. It was so I was neither offended nor cross, just miserable. Yeah. It wasn't right of Daddy to judge without knowing what the squabble was about. I would have given Margaret the book myself, but more quickly, if Mommy and Daddy hadn't interfered. And then Margaret took at once, and then Margaret's part at once, as though she were the victim in this great injustice. Phew, some great injustice that was. Like I'm offended for you, lady. I'm sorry. Yeah, okay, back to reading. Alright, I know, back to reading. It's obvious that Mommy wouldn't stick up for Margaret, but Margaret always. It's obvious that Mommy wouldn't stick up for Margaret. She and Mommy always do back each other up. I'm so used to that I'm utterly indifferent to both Mommy's joy and Margaret's moods. I love them, but only because they're Mommy and Margaret. With Daddy is different. If he holds Margaret up for as an example, approves of what she does, praises and caresses her, then something galls at me inside, because I adore Daddy. He is the one I look up to. I don't love anyone in the world but him. He doesn't notice that he treats Margaret differently from me. Now Margaret is just the prettiest, sweetest, most beautiful girl in the world. But all the same, I feel I have some right to be taken seriously too. I have always been a dunce, a ne'er-do-well of a family. I've always had to pay double for my deeds. First with the scolding, and then again because of the way my feelings are hurt. Now I'm not satisfied with this apparent favoritism anymore. I want something from Daddy that he's not able to give me. I'm not jealous of Margaret. Never have been. I don't envy her good looks or her beauty. It is only that I long for Daddy's real love, not only as his child, but for me and myself. I cling to Daddy because it is only through him that I am able to retain the remnant of family feeling. Daddy doesn't understand. Daddy doesn't understand that I need to give vent to my feelings over Mommy sometimes. He doesn't want to talk about it. He simply avoids anything that might lead to remarks about Mommy's failings. Just the same, Mommy and her feelings are something I find harder to bear than anything else. I don't know how to keep it all to myself. I can't always be drawing attention to her untidiness, her sarcasm, and her lack of sweetness. Neither can I believe that I am always in the wrong. Okay. Whew. I know. Yeah. We are exact opposites in everything, so naturally, we're bound to run up against each other. I don't pronounce judgment on Mommy's character, for that is something I can't judge. I only look at her as my mother, as a mother, and she just doesn't succeed in being that to me. I have to be my own mother. I've drawn myself apart from them all. I am my own skipper, and later on shall see where I come to land. All this comes about particularly because I have in my mind's eye an image of what a perfect mother and wife should be, and in her whom I must call mother, I find no trace of that image. I am always making resolutions not to notice Mommy's bad example. I want to see only the good side of her, and to see in myself what I cannot find in her. But it doesn't work, and the worst of it is that neither Daddy nor Mommy understand this gap in my life, and I blame them for it. I wonder if anyone can ever succeed in making their children absolutely content. I think people are still wondering that. Sometimes I believe that God wants to try me, both now and later on. Whew. Read that sentence again. Yeah. Sometimes I believe that God wants to try me, both now and later on. I must become good, though my own efforts, without examples and without good advice. Then later on, I shall be all the stronger. Who besides me will ever read these letters? From whom? Ah, says me will read these letters. From whom but myself shall I get comfort? As I need comforting often. I frequently feel weak and dissatisfied with myself. My shortcomings are too great. I know this, and every day I try to improve myself again and again. My treatment varies so much. One day Anne is so sensible and is allowed to know everything. And the next day I hear that Anne is just a silly little goat, doesn't know anything at all, and imagines that she's learned a wonderful lot from books. I'm not a baby or spoiled darling anymore to be laughed at whatever she does. I have my own views, plans, and ideas. Though I can't put them into words yet. So many of us. Oh, so many things bubble up inside me as I lie in bed, having to put up with people I'm fed up with, who always misinterpret my intentions. Ah, yeah, nice one. That's why in the end, I always come back to my diary. That is where I start and finish. Because Kitty, meow, is always patient. I'll promise her that I shall preserve, in spite of everything, and find my own way through it all, and swallow my tears. I only wish I could see the results already, or occasionally receive encouragement from someone who loves me. Don't condemn me. Remember, rather, that sometimes I too can reach the bursting point. Yours, Anne. All right, Kitty, I guess it's time to go to bed.